In our health alert tonight, 21 popular breakfast foods are contaminated with a controversial weed killer.
The Environmental Working Group says 17 of them contained higher levels of glyphosate than what their scientists have deemed safe for kids. Our chief health editor, Dr. Partha Nandi, joins us now with a list of these impacted products. Dr. Nandi?
Yeah, Heather, the problem is that some of these popular products have really high levels compared to what the EWG has pointed out. So stuff that you guys can see, here's Cheerios. I'm sure you guys have heard of Cheerios, and Nature Valley, right? So the EWG has set a mark of 160 parts per billion when it comes to kids' safety. Looking at two breakfast cereals, Honey Nut Cheerios Medley Crunch had, guess what, 833 parts per billion, and Cheerios Toasted Whole Grain Oat Cereal, 729 parts per billion. So if you're a fan of granola bars, then you may want to know that Nature Valley Maple Brown Sugar Crunchy Granola Bars had 566 parts per billion, and Nature Valley Granola Cups Almond Butter brand had 529 parts per billion. So these numbers are high and they're concerning. And the problem is that, and many of you have heard of this, is the concern about link of glyphosate to cancer. And that's why, parents like me are concerned.
So, Doc, the company that owns Roundup says the levels are indeed safe. How can that be?
So the parent company, Alan, is Bayer AG, and what they say is that these numbers don't exceed their recommended safety levels. They're quote-unquote glyphosate-based products are safe when used as directed, and that they're well below federal limits. But here's the thing. Technically speaking, these levels have not exceeded the legal limits set by the EPA. But the point that the EWG is making, and I'm making as well, is that the long-term effect that these weed killers may have on kids, right? So they feel that the quote-unquote from the EWG, that exposure during early life can have more significant effects in development later in life. That's why it's so concerning.
So for those who are concerned, what can you do?
So Heather, number one, if you can, buy organic products. That's not saying they won't have any glyphosate, but it's going to be a heck of a lot less herbicide in those organic products. Secondly, reach out to these companies like Quaker and General Mills that make these products and say, hey, can you buy oats from farms that don't use glyphosate so we can support them? And lastly, you can visit ewg.org, and they have an online petition directed at the food companies asking them to better protect consumers' health. So here's the thing, we're talking about 160 is a limit, and some of these are up to 5 or 6 times the limit of that. So you really have to take heed and say, for our kids and for our population, should we do better, and what can we do about it?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Some great information there, Doctor. Thank you.
Of course.
And if you have a question or a health concern for the doctor, you can email him, Dr. Nandi at AskDrNandi.com, or send it to us on Facebook or Twitter.